All right, welcome to another episode of Founders Club. Today I'm talking to Justin Colby. He is the founder of the Science of Flipping, and he has done over 1,500 real estate flips over his career. Really excited to jump into some good stuff around real estate investing.
Yep.
As always, make sure you check the links in the description below. And if you like money and you like real estate, hit that subscribe button because this is the show for you. We'll see you on the inside. Welcome to Founders Club, the show for real estate entrepreneurs. Justin, welcome to Founders Club.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much. Excited to be here, brother.
Yes, excited to have you on as well. I know that we've been in the same circle for a long time.
Yeah.
One of our close friends and franchisees, Carlos Figueroa. I know
Yeah.
you've also done some deals with him. I know
Mhm.
you and Sam go way back. So just excited to have you on today.
Yeah. Like I said, honored. This is gonna be good. Let's deliver some heat for your tribe, my friend.
Let's do it. I love it. So, you've done a lot of deals over your career, 1,500 plus deals. So why don't we just start with like, what would your advice be to someone that is looking to get into flipping?
Yeah. So I think the first thing is you have to understand the analysis part of it more than anything else. For most of the audience, I'm assuming realtors and other investors alike, fix and flipping, I don't believe in only being a one trick pony, meaning I wholesale, fix and flip, and I buy and hold. And why that's important, and although I am the founder of the Science of Flipping and I have a whole coaching program around being a dynamic investor called the Science of Flipping, I also want people to build wealth. I want you to hold the assets. I want you to buy rentals. I want you to wholesale when it doesn't fit. But that's if you understand how to properly analyze, right? And that's the key component I find more often than not that bogs people down is they don't really understand what a good deal is would be, and so they just don't do anything, right? They don't want to make a mistake, so they don't do anything at all. And unfortunately or fortunately, it's not that hard to analyze a property. There's a couple things you need to know. Like my entire community, I give them my buy box. The buy box I actually use when I buy my properties. It's all formulated, so you can just plug a couple numbers in, but it takes some of the thinking out of the process for them,
Mm.
because if it's good enough for me, they should be considering it for sure.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a great place to start actually is the importance of just having a buy box, right?
Mm,
Like
yeah.
understanding what types of deals you would be interested in. And so that way you can be talking about it with people and that's kind of building that muscle at the very beginning. So I want to talk about buy box and then I also want to talk about, a lot of the listeners of the show are realtors.
Yep.
And so I think that they kind of also have a little bit of an unfair advantage when it comes to trying to flip real estate because we're on the front lines. We are talking to sellers oftentimes before they hit the market
Yep.
or very early on before they're even kind of thinking about selling. So what advice would you be giving to us as the realtor community, and then let's kind of dive into how to build a buy box.
I'm going to say it as respectfully as I possibly can. Anyone who is a realtor, anyone who is licensed needs, this isn't maybe should, needs to be doing what I do. Plain and simple. I make more money on a $150,000 home than most realtors will make in San Diego on a $1 million home, right?
Mm.
And it's because I just have the right process. So if you're a realtor, and I don't care where in the country you are, and you're not leveraging what I know and how I do it and the processes as an investor, you're just missing out on making a lot more money. Not only that, you're missing out on wealth accumulation. I'm an investor through and through. I fix and flip, I buy and hold, I wholesale, like whatever asset, I let the asset dictate what is the best exit, right? And so for me,
Mm.
like just this year alone, people are all scared of the market, the interest rates. I've bought 4 separate apartments already this year. I'm buying somewhere between 2 to 5 properties a week, buying them this year. I'm more bullish on real estate now because everyone's scared and making excuses. And so if you're listening to this or if you're watching this, I implore you, get in the game of investing. You are only going to do yourself justice. And right now, you're not. If you're not in investing yet and you only deal or work with investors, good for you ish. but really step into the lane. You're already doing what the biggest part, which is finding the property. You're already having the conversations. That's our hardest part as real estate investors. The next part is just understanding how to analyze the property.
Mm. I love that. And totally agree. Like I said, I think we have a little bit of an unfair advantage as realtors, just getting in before most people would get a chance. So there's really one of two options that I think everybody should be doing right away, which is number one, align with an investor, someone like Justin. If you're not ready to kind of do it yourself yet, align with someone like Justin, have a cash investor ready, and with every listing appointment you go on, say, hey, I can get you an all cash offer within 24 hours. And that way, you have, in most chances, you'll get the relist when that investor's done flipping. A
Yeah.
lot of times you can, get a front row seat to the whole process, and you'll be able to learn how to do it. And then, to Justin's point, once you're comfortable or you feel like you're ready, then you should be taking down some of these deals yourself. And obviously, like, we'll break down the how to do that over the next little bit here on the pod.
Yeah.
But let's start with maybe identifying a buy box and kind of what that means. And
Yeah.
then we'll talk about finding deals, funding deals, flipping deals, and all the good stuff.
Yeah, so I literally have it's a spreadsheet, and most people say, "Well, can I get that?" So I only give it to my community members, my team, right? The people who are in my coaching community, right? But the simplicity of it is to figure out if you buy it at X and it has an after repair value of X or Y, and you have to hold it for 9 months, and the formula that goes in there is pretty simplistic, but it just works. And so it goes green if it works. Now, I'll give you more a mathematical formula. If you're somewhere between 70 to 80% of after repair value minus the rehab costs, you're right around the right number if you're going to fix and flip. Now, why that's important is because if you're going to buy and hold, the numbers change drastically. So again, to your point, like if someone's not ready, then I would totally encourage you, go work with me, go find me on Instagram, the Justin Colby, and work with me. I'll buy those deals. Like I'm an investor through and through, and then take a front row seat. Watch what I do, how I do it. Be interactive, be a part of my team to some extent, right? Help me on the project. And then when you start to make enough money, you feel a little bit more confident about your knowledge and wisdom because you're going through it with someone like myself, then buy your own, right? But yeah, it's the buy box really just depends on what the exit will be, and the exit is dictated by the potential of the property. And so I use that
Yeah.
word very specifically as potential, right? Some properties have potential to be a short-term rental. Some don't, right? So you need to understand what is the highest potential for each and every property. And again, this is, all across the United States. So if you're in Tulsa, Oklahoma versus San Diego, you probably have different exits because of location. That's fine, but you just need to know what that is. So I love
Yeah.
Tulsa, by the way. I buy and hold, I fix and flip in Tulsa, and I wholesale in Tulsa. I do it all because it's a great price point market to do all of them. San Diego, not so much. Fix and flip,
Mm.
sure. Short-term rental, sure. Buy and hold long-term, not the best market. Price points are really, really high, unless, of course, you have this epic oceanfront property, and that's a whole different story. But it just depends on what kind of potential does the property show you, and then you'll figure out what the buy box is.
Okay, I like that. And you did give us a nice framework. You said 70% of after repaired value minus the cost of the rehab.
Yeah, I say anywhere from 70 to 80%. It just depends on what you're willing to make and things of that nature.
Pardon the quick interruption, but if you're looking for a little extra help growing your real estate business, make sure you hit the link in the description below to book a one on one consulting session where I will personally help you take your real estate business to the next level. Over the last 15 years, I've grown a brokerage to over 1,000 agents in multiple states, consistently doing over $4 billion a year in sales. And we've been on the Inc. 500 5 times. I would love to personally help you reach your business goals and have the best year you've ever had. Book your session today. And now back to the podcast.
Now, I've done this 17 years and I've done a lot of deals. And so I'm a little bit more bougie when it comes to flipping. The bane of my existence and probably why I'm bald is because of contractors. And so if I'm going to deal with contractors, if I'm going to go through that process, then I want to make sure I'm netting about 50 grand net after all commissions, closing costs, holding costs, etc. And so, you could get up to 80% depending upon skill level and who you are and what's involved. And, yeah, 70 to 80%. And then a lot of people will then say, well, how do I know the repair costs? And I'll give you a little formula there. In most markets, again, San Diego is probably not the best to use this in because the cost of home and cost of materials. But if you do what I call a redo, right? So I have a repair, redo, and a rehab. A repair, paint, carpet, I use $30 a square foot for that, right?
Mm.
Literally, you're just coming in, you're cleaning it out, paint, carpet type of stuff, very minimal.
So that's
$30
more of a
square foot.
cosmetic flip.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
I'd almost potentially call it a wholesale. Like you buy it, you throw some lipstick on a pig, you put it on the market, right? A a rehab is where you're like new kitchen, new cabinets, new counters, new bathrooms, new. It's a rehab. And then a redo is what I would consider like you're really kind of changing the inside of the house. You're taking down walls, you're moving things around. You may say there's a misuse of space. So you add a bedroom within the four walls. You're not adding square footage, but you're adding a bedroom. Those
Mm.
type of things are what I call a redo. That's $70 square foot. So rehab is $50 square foot. Redo is $70 square foot. If you're in San Diego, those numbers might be a little bit elevated, or anywhere in California, really. But in most other parts of the country, those are pretty tried and true numbers for what I
Mm.
call Bubba math. It's not a
Mm.
perfect science, right? So don't sit here and Justin, I heard you say $50 square foot, and I got a bid here for what. But you're going to be close enough.
Ballpark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a ballpark. I call it Bubba math.
I love that. So that's another good framework. One thing that I'm hearing you say is that you're not just doing this in your backyard; you're doing this nationwide,
Yeah.
which I think for those of us in more expensive markets like San Diego is also good to hear because the average house here is going to be around $1 million,
Yep.
and that's going to be a lot more daunting of a task versus flipping a $200,000 to $300,000 home in a different market. So talk to us the difference about how you approach that.
Yeah, so Carlos, we mentioned Carlos. He's incredible, right? And you know him well. And he understood this and he started going outside of San Diego for that exact reason, right? So he started wanting to build wealth and accumulate wealth. And so he went into different markets. Ohio specifically was one he went into. And the reason why I actually like other markets is for growth factors, right? And so people ask me all the time, why are you choosing the markets you choose? And a lot of the answer, there's a lot to the answer, but one of the major points of the answer is the opportunity for growth. We all know everyone needs a place to live. We are all in the right industry. I don't care if you're a realtor or an investor or both. You're in the right spot because everyone always will need a place to live. However, there are markets that still have growth potential, right? And that growth potential creates appreciation. And when you're in a market with appreciation, you're trying to fix and flip for profits or buy and hold, and you want massive amount of equity for a retirement plan, let's say, then you're going to want appreciation and you're going to want it way faster than 5%. And so for those that are knowledgeable, you know that kind of historically speaking, not since COVID, but historically, the market usually rises about 5% a year, give or take, depending upon markets. Now, since COVID, it has been lightning in a bottle. It has been crazy. It has been awesome. If you were in real estate for the past 4 years and you weren't printing money just because you were breathing, then I got nothing for you. I mean, everyone got rich in the last 4 years, but it was fake, right? That's not, literally the wind was behind everyone's back at such a rate that you almost like you couldn't make a mistake. The
Mm.
appreciation would fix anything that happened, right? And so I think we're getting a little bit more closer to normal. Um, and I think we're going to settle in a lot more normal here in the next 12 to 18 months. But that just goes back to like, okay, well, there's still places where people can't afford to live in San Diego. They can't afford to live in New York. They can't afford to live in Miami. So they got to go
Right.
to areas that they can still have a nice home, but it's affordable. And so I choose a lot of my virtual markets for affordability and ability to grow. right? And so I try to focus on those 3.
Affordability and ability to grow.
Yeah. And listen, I still wanna be around, interestingly enough, I'm going pretty heavy in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm
Okay.
actually starting TV commercials August 16th, so that'll be nice. But
Nice.
I have 3 apartments there. I don't even know how many single family homes. And I've always said I wanna have a major sports team, major college, or, military bases, just things that create an economy and necessity. Well,
Yep.
interestingly enough, the last 3 years, the UFL has become a really big thing, and it has actually spawned an economy in and of itself to the point where the city is now doing this whole, entertainment district build out because this UFL, which there's the NFL and the UFL used to be the XFL, whatever it was. Well, Birmingham, Alabama has been the champion for 3 straight years. So it has
Oh, wow.
spawned this economy. So I'm banking on, okay, this is a viable city now. It's really affordable still, um, and things of that nature. So so I
So
look for things like that as well.
yeah, no, I think that's huge. So when you're looking at those factors, what are the sources you're looking at to kind of determine, those things you just mentioned, like to really find a good market for those of us that are in crazy expensive markets? And then before you answer that, uh, for someone looking to do their first deal, would you recommend doing in market or out of market or no difference?
I think it depends on the market. Right, like, if you were gonna be doing San Diego, I wouldn't, and it's not against San Diego, it's just such a high price point, right? Like,
Yeah.
to do your first deal and have to buy something for $1,000,000 and put $300,000 into it so you can sell it for 1.85, like, you're just like, "Oh, man, it's a lot," right? Even if you raise the private money, it's just still like, it's a big raise, like, you're just so I would tend to say if you're in a higher price point market, I would do it outside, even for rental, Um, and so I look for, I don't know all the websites, but I mean, it's pretty simple in terms of you want to look for job growth. You want to look for increasing economy rate, right? Like what is the rate of actual economy in certain cities? And you can Google all this. And there's websites my team uses and then we review it and whatever. But
Cool.
the Sun Belt as a whole, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Texas, I love Tennessee, Oklahoma. You're just talking about a place that has good price points for opportunity. So for me as an investor, I want the opportunity to keep it as a rental if I can, or fix and flip it. And so it has to kind of fit both for me to buy it. If it fits
Mm,
both, I feel pretty safe, right? Like even if I'll give you a great example. Shit goes wrong all the time, right? All the time.
yeah.
And we were going to list one of our flips in Florida. It's in it's not in Jacksonville. It's in Palatka, Florida, which is like just south of Jacksonville. So we were going to flip it, or that was our intention, the day before it hits a market. So we were going to put it on the market on Thursday. Wednesday, the realtor walks it. The roof caved into the house, not the ceiling,
Wow.
the roof. So obviously
So a
not
minor issue.
excited about that, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, who's to blame? And we're asking the contractor, like, how could you know what I mean? So but now we gotta say, okay, well, now we're gonna be way over budget on the flip because we have to replace the entire, everything. And but we're in a nice price point. And I'm like, all right,
Mm,
so we're over budget. We're just gonna fold it into the rental portfolio. It's not gonna hurt us. We'll make money every month. It is what it is. It's not the perfect scenario. I think we stood to make something close to 50 grand. We do it every time. And so not ideal, but it won't hurt us, right? And we're in
right.
a nice market that is going to have the appreciation. And so if it turns into a long flip, like a 18-month hold flip, because the appreciation is going to get there and then we can actually exit and still make some money, then so be it. So I look at that. I really just kind of tend to go look at that. I don't know all the websites we look, but we don't overly look at crime, things of that nature. We do look more for the economy type stuff, some of the financial stuff in terms of what growth, what industry's moving there. I have a
So
friend that was
growth and jobs, as it sounds like the big ones.
that's it,
And
right?
then, like
Like
you said, a college, a military base, a sports team, any of that kind of stuff.
I just keep it real simple. I know there's people who are gonna
I
like
love that.
economists would just be like, well, you need to know about and I'm like, I just don't. I don't believe I don't. Some people
Yeah.
might totally oppose me. That's fine. I just look for the basics of it all, right? It's kind of like location, 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 right? That's
Yep.
it.
Makes sense. Anything that makes a market or a city like a no-go zone a deal killer for
Price.
you?
Well, respectfully, brother, respectfully, I will stay all the way out of California. I'm a no-go on the state of California for a lot of reasons. One, it has priced itself out, right?
Mm,
Like it is not a rental market. Even Central California is ridiculously expensive. Um, Two, politics. And I only say that not to get political, but it is a renter friendly state. It has been almost virtually impossible now for the landlord to be able to evict someone in any type of rapid pace, right? And I just go, I don't, those are going against my business model, right? If someone doesn't pay me, I want them out
yeah.
immediately. And the state basically said, F you, the tenants, the tenants get all the rights. And I'm like, okay, I'm out on that story. New York is
Yeah.
another one for very similar reasons. And I'm not a political guy, but most blue states I just stay out of because I run a business. Buying a rental is a business. I don't like the income taxes that California has, right? I mean, there's just so many. Not to beat you guys up, I'm from California, born and raised in San Francisco, went to UCLA, uh, but there's just some things business wise that you say, okay, there's better decisions to be made, right? And
Yeah.
so,
I think
uh,
that's fair.
yeah, I think so. I mean, take a look at Elon Musk and moving his headquarters to Texas. Like people who get it, they get it, right? Like get your headquarters in a different state and you can still run a business. But so I say all that to just
Yeah.
say um, most blue states I tend to stay away from. Um, and I just think the Sun Belt is just a good price point, good appreciation, good people. Not that there's bad people, but there's bad people everywhere. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's great advice. And for those of us that are in some of those markets that Justin mentioned, I would again suggest partnering with a local investor there that's already doing business, knows the game, has experience, and that way you can partner up on a few deals, learn the game, build up some money, build up some cash flow, and then start taking down deals yourself. Or like Justin does, go to these other states that are more friendly towards real estate businesses and have nicer price points.
I think anyone, if you're gonna go get your first deal, either get a coach, like come into my community, I'll coach you, but also to your point, Oliver, like partner, like give up half of it, right?
Right.
Like learn the process. Do it with someone who's
Mhm.
been there before, right? Like don't be greedy and need to make all the money all the time. Like learn the game a little, right? So that's why I say, like, get a coach, pay for a coach, help you speed up, or find someone who's the experience and then
Yep.
offer the value. Maybe you have some money you can put into the deal and you guys do the deal together and you can watch the process. But I
Yeah.
would try to de-risk yourself than just taking a full-blown leap of faith with no one holding your hand or helping you.
Love that. Think that's great advice. So now why don't we jump into finding deals? How are you finding profitable deals? What's kind of your strategy? How are you marketing? Things like that.
Yeah, so I just told you I'm launching for the very first time TV commercials, so I'm excited about that. That'll be good. It's my first
Nice.
time ever.
Congrats.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So I'll keep you posted. I'm big online. I love pay-per-click advertising, both on Google and Facebook. I think people undervalue Facebook leads. They're very valuable.
Wow.
Um,
That's
his
very
store.
interesting.
I'm sorry.
I said that's very interesting. I don't hear a lot of people say that they're targeting real estate deals on Google and Facebook. So
Yeah, so Facebook is a lot cheaper than Google. So the difference is, right? Facebook is typically interest based. People like cars and planes and boats and watches and tits and ass, right? Got it. Google is very intent based.
Mhm.
Sell your home fast, sell your home now, sell your home. Um, so totally two different, but the cost per lead on Facebook is so drastically less that it becomes a volume game. I have so many leads, my entire team is totally overwhelmed, right? That I am now partnering with my members of the Science of Flipping community saying, hey, I'm already spending the money. I already have these leads. I don't want to have to go out and train and hire. Like I'm training you guys. Why don't you come to my business? Let's partner on these leads and go convert
Cool.
them. And so it's a lead flow game. And so I
Yeah.
love online. There's a service called rocketly.ai, rocketly.ai. Full disclosure, I'm a partner in it, but we built out a whole platform to do exactly what I'm talking about for online presence because everyone's online now. Everyone is on this thing now, right? Like
Yep.
it's everywhere. Now, by the way, it doesn't mean direct mail doesn't work because it actually still does.
Mm,
Doesn't mean cold calling doesn't work because it actually still does. But for me, I'm going to go all in on where most people spend their attention, right? And so I'm all in on online and obviously TV because the target audience for the TV commercials are midday, Judge Judy type
right.
watchers or
Yep.
late night infomercial type watchers. And that's just an audience that they are loyal to that show and those type of that lifestyle. And so when I can get in front of them, then that's where their attention is going to be. So I kind of focus more on attention, which to me right now I'm banking on TV. I know a lot of my friends have done very well, so that's why I'm doing it. Uh,
Hmm.
but online, I'm a big proponent of online.
Okay. And then are you having people opt in for a guide or anything, or is it just get a cash offer now, or what's kind of your message?
Get an offer now type of
Okay.
it's a very simple if you go to like we run websites off minutepages.com is who hosts our websites. Very
Okay.
inexpensive, it's
Nice.
like $97 a month. But
Cool.
another thing, just because I'm talking to realtors, I do a lot of business with realtors. A lot. And that's why, Oliver, when you said what you said, like partner with people like me. Like I can help create income and commissions for you guys like crazy. We could partner on deals together if the deal is right. Like so, but I buy a lot from realtors because the thing that I understand is a good relationship will feed me forever.
Yeah.
One deal will feed me once, but a
Hmm.
good relationship will feed me forever. So, Oliver, in the example, I'm looking to go to your market and you're a realtor and you have a listing. Well, I might call my team specifically, but let's say I call you. It would be a conversation more similar to like, hey, Oliver, I see you're listing on 123 Main Street. I'm not totally sure this one for me is going to make a good purchase, but I am an investor and I'm looking for good investment deals. And I know, Oliver, you're an agent and you come across properties that a lot of times might not be perfect listings and you kind of don't really know what to do. What I'm calling for, honestly, I want to build a partnership with you that makes you think of me first in those because that's
Mm.
probably more the type of property I would be buying. You can represent me, you can be built into the deal. I need more good solid relationships. And
Love that.
realtors love it, right? Because it's
Yeah.
very it's not aggressively like, let me get this and steal this listing and make a low ball. It's not that. It's I actually don't think I can buy this deal, so I don't even want to offend you. But what I do want to do is create a partnership with you, Oliver, that we can feed each other essentially, right? I can help you get commissions and I'm buying flips and whatever for the rest of our life. And by the way, Oliver,
Mm.
if that means 1 to 2 deals a year, great. Let's just go do that for 2 decades. I don't care, right?
Yeah. No, I love that. That's really great advice. And a nice easy script for people to use to make some contacts.
Oh, I think realtor to realtor. So for all you realtors out there that are, thinking about getting into this space, oh, you guys have like my easy script becomes even easier. Hey, I'm a local real estate agent, but I also have an investing side of my business. And I'll be honest, Oliver, I saw your listing. I don't know if it's going to work for me. I'm going to shoot you straight. But man, it has been hard for me to find more investment properties. And so I'm just starting to build better relationships with other agents. We all know, how the economy is. We're all in it, but one side of my business needs to be fed more. And so, anyways, in that type of soft, I'm an
Yeah.
agent, you're an agent, I have an investment side, I'm looking, and your listing may not fit. I promise you that level of indifference, it most realtors have a wall up, right? And another investor or whatever. When you say, I don't even know if it's going to be a good fit, realtors go, oh, good. I don't have to deal with a low ball offer, right? I mean, you
Right.
literally almost could hear them sigh.
Yeah.
But then you say, here's how you can make money. Because every conversation is this. Oliver's thinking to myself, great, I picked up this fucking call from this guy, Justin. What's in this for me? Like, how am I going to get paid? That's what they're thinking. How am I making money? So if I can
Mm.
tell Oliver how he's making money in a soft way, then he's like, all right, that sounds pretty cool. Like, as I go to this dumpster fire listing that, damn it, I don't really think this is listable. Justin's going to be my first call and see if I can get a paycheck from that deal when
Yep.
really I probably wouldn't.
Yeah. See if I can put a deal together.
That's right.
Hey there, I just have a quick favor to ask. If you're getting value from Founders Club and you're watching on YouTube, just give us a like, hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. These things are free to do and it really helps the channel. And it also helps us be able to bring better guests for you in the future. Now back to the episode. So, sticking with the theme of putting deals together and kind of people venturing, onto the investor side, how are you funding these deals and how would you recommend people put that together? Because a lot of times, I'm sure you're using hard money or private money or different other sources, but what's your kind of philosophy on that?
This is one of my favorite questions because it is both of those, by the way. So I am emphatic, right, of raising money. Like I literally bought 4 separate apartments so far this year, and I'm going to be self-financing them all, not self my own bank account, but raising capital. And the
Yep.
reason why that works way better is because banks have all this red tape, and we already talked about the interest rates and all this other stuff. So if I can show someone a way to get closer into my world and be a part of real estate that may just be a high income earner, like a lawyer, a doctor, whatever the case may be, but wants to get more into my world, or maybe is someone who just has a lot of money and they don't believe in the stock market, or it's an asset that we all know is tangible and it can be protected by the actual asset. And so if we can do that, that's everything, right? And so, currently raising $4 or $5 million for these. I already bought them. I bought all of these apartments already, but I have to get through the construction part. I have to have capex, and I'm just like, this is so much more enjoyable. People enjoy being a part of my world more. They're a part of something,
Yep.
and the protection case. So I love this part, and it is typically hard money for acquisitions and private money for gap funding, right? So most of my hard money will lend me up, like I'm buying a property down in San Antonio. They're lending me 93% of purchase, 93. And so I need
Wow.
to bring 7% to the deal. And so I think it's like 30 grand or whatever the number was. And then the remodel, I think, is like 90 grand. Okay, so they're going to reimburse me for the remodel. So what I do with my contractors is I pay them in quarters. So let's just say the remodel is 100 grand to make the quarter easy. So I'll pay the contractor 25 grand. I will take pictures for proof of work done, send it back to my lender. They will reimburse me 25 grand and I'll pay the contractor again. So basically, I'm going to bring 30 grand to close and 25 grand to start their construction, and it's done. And I don't need to bring any more money. Now, I also will probably borrow. So let's just call that 60 grand. I'll probably borrow 70 because I want to have enough money to pay the interest payments to my hard money lenders. So I have a
Mm,
$70,000 loan that will help me buy it and remodel it and put it on the market and have no money out of pocket. And it's just easier than people think because most people have not done it or they have not been coached by me or what have you. But it really, when you present it in a way that I teach, people love it. You're not
mm,
begging for money. You don't come off like it's just like, hey, here's an opportunity. And if you want to be a part of it, great. And if you don't, that's okay too. And
yeah.
if you want to be a part of it, we'll talk terms and what it looks like. And people
Yeah.
just, by the way, real estate's so sexy. Think about all the damn TV shows. Million
Yeah.
Dollar Listing, Beverly Hills. We just have Serhant. I'm speaking on stage here in a couple weeks with Ryan Serhant, and he has his new Netflix special that is #1 on Netflix. Like, real estate is sexy.
Yep.
Everyone wants to be a part of real estate.
Yep.
So when you come from that mind frame, it's really just not that hard.
I love it. And I agree. One thing I definitely know is that there's a lot of people out there that are doctors, dentists, lawyers, accountants, business owners that have money and want to get involved with real estate but have no idea how. So the excuse of like, I don't have money, it should never be a limiting factor on doing deals. Justin just gave a great example on a deal that I'm sure he could fund himself but still goes out, raises money, puts the deal together. And I'd love to know kind of some of the tips that you have on how you're presenting these deals or how you package them up
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
make them sexy.
Yeah. So in Oliver, we're friends in getting closer, right? Obviously, Sam's a good friend of mine and your business. Anyways, so let's just say there's 3 circles that you can raise money. Your inner circle, that's the obvious. That's mom, dad, aunt, uncle, best friend, like the people that are at your Christmas dinner table, right? That's your inner
Right.
circle, right?
Right.
Your outer circle. I would put you in my outer circle. We are friends. We will have a burger. We'll have a beer, but I'm probably not calling you in Christmas saying, come on over. Right. But you're in my friendship circle, but I'll gladly go hang out with you and grab beers and whatever, right? That's
Yep.
your outer circle. Your social circle is exactly that. Social media is broad, it's wide. And I don't even need to get into that, but if you're not leveraging social media at this point, you are literally just setting yourself up for failure. I won't say it any other way. It's just you're making a massive mistake. But I say that to say those three people just need to know what the hell you do. So the framework is this: you have three circles, and then you have three things you need to do. They need to know who you are. Who are you? What do you do? Real estate. And then what do you want? And when you are able to use conversation and social media in a way that every day people are seeing who you are, every day people are seeing what you do, and then periodically they see what you
Mm,
want, they're engaged, right? And so
that's really good.
it becomes very easy for me to go out and raise capital. And it's not because, yes, listen, I'm at a place in my career where we're 17 years in, and unfortunately, I think we gave you an old bio. I've done nearly 3,000 deals at this point in my career.
Wow.
And you know, I'm at a different phase of life. I have 2 top ranked podcasts on Apple, and I'm a keynote speaker at some of the largest events. Sure, people can say, "Yeah, but Justin, I'm not you." Great, don't be me, because Justin started day one somewhere. And my story is I was broke, busted, disgusted, sleeping on a couch, and the repo man took my car. So no one can tell me like, oh, well, Justin, it must be nice to be you. No, no, no. I was down and out, right? But I hired a coach, frankly. And over years, I learned these things. But what I need you guys to understand is this thing makes all this free. It is a game change. When I started 17 years ago, there was none of this. There was maybe a flip phone at the time. I don't even know. So
Right.
social media has made our ability for people to know who we are and what we do so easy. People are
Mm,
just scared. I just interviewed a friend, Jen Godlieb, a
yep.
big person. Obviously, you know who she is. She has this great book out. She runs this whole thing about this exact point, which is you need to brand yourself, and people get scared. And the fear comes from judgment. Her and I literally went off for like 45 minutes about this. Get over it. Your
Mm,
mom, your dad, your best friends, the people closest to you are already going to judge you. They're doing it. Get over it. They still love you. They're still going to answer your
yeah.
call. So if you already know they're judging you and they're snickering, great. Just go post. It doesn't have to be selfies and you're perfect and oh my God. It needs to be like, hey, a video of you on your DocuSign getting another listing in the
Mhm.
books, and they see you scrolling through your listing agreement. Hey,
Yep.
looking to put in an offer as an investor on this deal. This is my first offer as an investor. Like, video it. Let people
Yep.
know what you do. It is really not hard. Your face doesn't even have to be on there. That's the thing. People get all concerned about like themselves being on it. It literally does not have to be you. I've helped
Right.
my members of science flipping community raise an ungodly amount of money. And there's a couple secrets which I leave to the people who have made the investment to be in my community, but it's so simple. People just don't think it through. They think it has to be overly complicated. You need to be a slide deck and a big pitch deck, and you need to no, you're you're not going for a series A funding round, right? Like
Right.
you need 60
Yeah.
grand. This
Yeah.
isn't, so it's great, dude. I love talk. I could go off on this because it's fun, and obviously, when you can raise money, you can go to scale. So, to your point, can I cut a $60,000 check to do this deal in San Antonio? Yes, I totally could. But if I want to be doing 2 to 5 of these a week, there at some point, I only do actually have so much money. It isn't infinite, and so to be able to go to scale, think about whether you hate him or love him, Grant Cardone. This is
Mm,
exactly what he does. He goes to people, he raises money, he buys everything cash, right?
yep. No, I love what you said about the three circles, the inner circle, the outer circle, and the social circle. And I think that's really good how you're looking at that in terms of just talk about who you are, what you do, and every once in a while, what you need or what you're looking for, and just see kind of what happens. Because just by doing that, you're kind of like letting manifesting it, whatever you want to call it, letting the know, creating a magnet to try to get those things put together.
Amen. And people overcomplicate it. That's the
Okay.
challenge, is sometimes you just gotta realize, like, this isn't complicated. It's a function of doing kind of the boringer stuff. Like I said, you could literally record yourself getting a listing agreement, the DocuSign, just scroll through the DocuSign. You don't even need it's not that fun, whatever, but it just
Right.
if you did that every day, or if you're looking at comping properties to figure out what you would list something for, which you want to present later on, you don't even have the listing yet. Show yourself comping a property right now, trying to figure out exactly the listing. I think this could be those
Yeah.
little things give people insight on what you do. And then when you do ask them, hey, I have a opportunity to do a cool investment deal. Would you have any interest in being a part of it? Yeah, I've been watching you. And by the way, not to go too deep on this, I have not the largest social media following, but I have, Instagram's a hundred and something thousand, and I have hundreds of thousands of people in my social circle, right? Hundreds of thousands. And there's people with millions. So that's why I say I don't have the largest. But like when I do go ask, these people have not been liking my post. They have not been commenting my post. And then I do go for my ask and they reply. They will hit me up with a DM. They won't even reply in the damn post. They want to be so private about it and they're so like off the grid about it. They DM me. And
Mm.
that's okay. So if you are
Yep.
going to take my advice here, and I highly encourage you to, don't worry about your likes and your comments. That is totally irrelevant. Think about how you use social media when you are being a voyeur. You're doing that exactly that. Very rarely, if you think about how you use social media, are you liking or commenting?
Yeah.
Like you see me
Most
with
people
my
are
baby.
lurking.
Yeah, you're being a voyeur. And
Yeah.
I do it. The reason why I thought about this and I need to start coaching about it is because I do it. I
Everybody
genuinely do it.
does.
So if
Yeah,
I see
for sure.
Oliver holding his kid, I'm liking that thing. But if
Hmm.
Oliver's like walking on a beach, I might look at it, I might read what you say in your caption, but I may not like it. Not because I
Hmm.
don't like it. It's just like scroll
Yeah.
next, right?
Yeah.
We as a society are a voyeuristic society. That is what we are. So when you make your ask, just know people have been watching, and that's why they need to know what you do.
Yep. Yeah. Great advice. I love that. And then just to take that one more step further, once you have a deal, what kind of tips do you have on the approach to either pitching it or presenting it or texting people, calling people?
I think it's a function of the deal, frankly. I don't think it's a one size fits all. But if it's a
Okay.
typical flip, then I would just kind of lay out the numbers and hey, we're gonna buy it for 150 grand and we see the sales price to be 285. We need 60 grand to get the deal going at 10% interest, right? You'll be protected by a deed of trust and a promissory note and that's it,
Yeah.
right? And you're a lender, you become the bank, right? And so I just
Yeah.
again, it's not overly complicated. They're either going to say, "Wow, 10% interest. I'm only making 4, in my CD or I'm only making or maybe I'm losing money in my retirement account." You know what I mean? Like it just the first part and I guess I should have started with this when you asked that question. Understand what their financial goals are. Like what is their money currently doing? Most people, their money is losing money. Most people have it in an IRA and it's just losing money. Most people will keep it in a savings account for a rainy day, losing money. Um, and so you say, okay, great. So what would you like your money? Like, what would be a good deal for you? What would you like to be earning on your money? And sometimes you'll get like 4%, 5%, 6%. Well, shit. I mean, I'm willing to give up to 10. So if someone says that, I'm
Wow.
like, are you
That's a
5% would be good?
fantastic question, by the way, because a lot of people, when they're coming to pitch, they're just in pitch mode, pitch, pitch, pitch. But just a simple question of like, what do you want to make on your money? Like,
Game changer.
frames the whole conversation. Because if they say 6% and you're offering 8, like that's, now you can tailor your whole presentation.
Yep. 100%.
Love that. Love that. Very cool. And then when you have a deal, is it like you're texting people, calling people, and just saying, "Hey, I have a deal."
I'll
Uh,
usually well, just by the way, it depends. Are you using your inner circle, outer circle, social circle? So
okay.
you kinda it just depends, right? So if you're gonna lean on your inner circle, which I would always go inner circle first, right? That's
Yeah.
again the closest people to you. Uh, then it's usually a call or a text. Hey, you got time a little bit later today? I have something pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Um, so Keep it
Simple.
easy. Again, I just dumb it all the way down. Like, people just don't do the thing. I say this all the time. Just do the thing. Don't over engineer it. Just
Right.
do it.
Yeah. Just shoot them a text and say, "Hey, I got a deal if you're interested."
That's it.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, cool. And then uh, a little bit on, once you've, let's say you've secured a deal, you've got your financing, you're going to approach the project. What kind of insight can you give us around just timelines, project management, and just making sure things don't go off the rails?
And there's no like I told you, I just dealt with this freaking roof, right? Like, I mean, God, who would have thought that, right? Like, so there's no 100% guarantee, but you essentially want to have someone that is keeping the contractors in line, whether that's you, whether that's someone else. I have an in-house, um, basically head of construction, I call him. It's his title.
Mm,
So he is finding the good contractors, giving them lien waivers, making the payments, making sure that the work has been done, verifying the work has been done. So he's like in charge of that department. So you would need to be to do that if you're flipping your first house by yourself. You want to make sure of all that, and that's the mundane, mind numbing, not fun part of what we do.
mm.
Like I said, contractors are like the bane of my existence. So, uh, you know, you got to find them. You got to make sure you manage them correctly. So again, this is where people are like, well, I could never do it outside of my own backyard. You can, right? Again, to your point, Oliver, a realtor could be that person for you because they're incentivized because they're going to list the property at the end. And you might
Mm.
even bonus the realtor and say, hey, I'm going to give you another point bonus on the listing if you can get this done on budget and on time. Instead
Oh,
of
I love
giving
that.
you this
Great tip.
sell site 3%, I'll give you 4, right?
Yep. Yeah,
And
that's
what
killer.
agent's not excited about that? So
Absolutely.
you can definitely leverage the realtor to be a team player. There's no doubt.
Very cool. Well, a couple questions that I like to wrap with. One is I have two young boys at home, and I like to ask the successful people I talk to what their advice would be to them and kind of the next generation that's coming up.
Yeah, great question, dude. Because as a parent, my kids are younger, but it is something I think. Um, uh, going. How old are your boys?
They are 7 and 9.
So young enough. Like, I just think, I know as a man specifically, I'll talk to that. I didn't know shit. I mean, literally nothing until I was 30. And, what I think is backwards about our society right now is we're all expected, men and women, to graduate college, know what you want to do, and go into that line of that field and do that thing. And I just think about myself at 22, 23, whenever I graduate, 24, like, man, in life, you don't know anything. And so I think some of it is a little bit this idea is like try some things out. Like, some people, they just know it. They know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they're about. They're going. They're going to be a doctor. They're going to be a lawyer. Like, awesome. I love that for you.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
not my journey, and I'm
Yeah.
probably closer more the normal person.
And
And
most
so I
people
think,
don't have no idea.
yeah, so I think go try stuff out, and I'm gonna encourage my family to be entrepreneurs, to some level, right? And I just think because it allows you the opportunity to win on a much bigger level, that you're not beholden to someone else's life vision and that kind of stuff. And to the point of being a realtor, you're a business owner. It's your business. You run it. Like, are you gonna make a lot of money or not? It's still your business.
Mm,
You
mm.
might be a big block, but it's your business, right?
Yep.
And so, I just think go try, create some sort of passion within entrepreneurship. So I've always had that within me. I have a story as a kid. I used to go to the baseball card shop. I would buy the box of baseball cards. I would sit in the store. I would open every pack. I would sell back the best cards to the baseball card store owner, right? So he would essentially buy them wholesale cost, but it would basically double my investment. So I'd buy it at the time. I think it was like $20 to buy a box of baseball cards. Now it's like some ungodly number. Um, and I would go essentially get about $40 back every time I did it. And so I've
Mm,
always had this entrepreneurship kind of hustle. I also would take my bike, go around the streets on recycle day, take all the cans and the bottles and bring it to the recycling place myself, because I would get a penny or 5 cents. I mean, I've just had it. Not everyone does. I've always been this way. But I
Mhm.
encourage people to kind of look into that as they start to grow up. What would be fun for you? What would create something that you would be willing to bet yourself that you can go be successful at? And don't be scared to try stuff. I think that's kind of the biggest push. I'd go try it. Because if you don't like it, great. Now you know what you don't want. Awesome.
Love it. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's solid advice right there. I like that a lot. So, and then, in 60 seconds or less, what does it take to be a successful real estate investor?
It takes belief, it takes persistence, it takes failure, and it takes consistency, or what's the other word I like to try to use? Determination, right? In grit, because when you fail, you're gonna have to get back up. So those are the 4 things that I genuinely will say are the 4 pillars of being a successful entrepreneur, which is the belief you can do it, the massive amount of action that you're willing to take, your ability to fail, and then your ability to get back up and keep going. If you do those 4 things, you'll be successful. There's 100% chance, because you can't ever
Mm,
beat someone that keeps getting back up.
that's true. Very cool. Well, that's a perfect place to end. For those that want to connect with you on a deeper level and learn more about what you got going on, where can they find you and how can they do that?
Hit me up. Instagram's probably the easiest. The Justin Colby. The Justin
Cool.
Colby. As a moment in time, I have give or take 115 or 20,000. That's me. The reason why I say that is because there's been several people who've been like, "Hey, you have 3,000 followers," and like, that's not me. That's
The rip
don't
off
engage
accounts.
with that person, right?
Yeah.
So the Justin Colby on Instagram. I answer my actual DMs. I don't BS and do the bot thing and all the other stuff. I will absolutely help you and advise you, and hopefully, listen, I look to develop business partners. I want more of them. I want to buy more apartments. I want to buy more storage facilities. I want to buy more. And so I'm looking to partner and develop those people. And so I'm happy to help wherever I can.
Love that. Well, very cool. As always, guys, check out the links in the description below. If you like money and you like real estate, hit that subscribe button. And Justin, appreciate it a lot, man. Thank you for coming on.
Appreciate you, brother.